Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to do things a little differently this week. I didn't really have anything lined up, so instead, I'm going to be looking at some of the submissions for older themes that we didn't get to. Just kind of look at some of them. Today, we're going to be looking at one of the suggestions for the mid-year checkpoint. This one actually caught my attention because on yesterday's live stream, somebody came in asking about this specific track, and while looking through this theme, I saw someone else had requested it, and I figured, why not? Let's check this out. So we're going to look at the band Kokeshi, who we have had on live stream before, but I've never done a full reaction for, I don't believe. This track is called Hatching into Humanity and came out earlier this year. Let's dive into it, see what Kokeshi is bringing to the table today. It's sort of claustrophobic with just how large everything is. There's only a few instruments and yet they take up so much space. It certainly creates an evocative feeling, though I will say the production is just a little too thick for my tastes. Despite that, I can't discredit the atmosphere that it creates and the single vocal trying to pierce through this heavy. It's a freaking whiplash, dude. A very textured approach to the instrumental work. Yeah, the whiplash on this track is undeniable. Very fun syncopation on the guitars. Just the rhythmic juxtaposition between the instruments and the vocals. Dual arches. in counterpoint, I believe, not harmony. Darkly beautiful here. No, not there. There it is. Not as quite as large of a punch-in that I was expecting, though, given some of the starker contrasts we've had in the past. Having the snare drive this intensity forward. Bringing those super fuzzy tremolo, well, not tremolo, 16th note picking. A very black metal style guitar composition. Sections like that are kind of neat too, because while we have we technically have a compositional shift. What those faster guitars were playing is not the same as that slow arpeggiating that we got on the clean electric in the final moments. But the thing is that the chord progression, the general shaping of rising and falling are identical. The foundation is the same. It's just the decoration around has shifted. And so there's a lot of parallels between those two moments, even if they are technically different and sonically very opposite of one another. But that sort of idea is super consistent throughout this entire track. It's what creates the duality of the song. Yes, it is filled with high contrast, and so opposing concepts are going to be present throughout, but it's not really true opposition throughout all of this. It's swinging between extremes, but the extremes are still on the same line. We're seeing opposite ends of a spectrum. There's a duality there, not an opposition. They're not clashing. They are working harmoniously together. And I think that's what drives a lot of this song for me, is this thematic resonance of duality, of two opposing ideas working alongside one another to push forward and experience an idea, a concept, whatever the lyrics are aiming to explore through this musical concept of opposing duality. And I think that's what makes a lot of this as emotionally resonant as it can be, and why it doesn't feel like a frictional song, why there is beauty throughout all of this. And I really do find a lot of this track to be gorgeous. Even the harsher sounds, the growls, the screams, the distorted instrumentation, the 16th note gritty instruments, the very, black metal adjacent guitar ideas throughout this. These ideas are sort of rarely what I would describe as beautiful, and yet I think that they complement the more traditionally gorgeous sections very well, because it is still harmonious. They are still working towards a single end goal. Whether it is light and ethereal and just traditionally beautiful from a sonic perspective, or incredibly aggressive, the composition that supports these sonic production techniques is still gorgeous. It's aiming for beauty. It's aiming for cooperation between these two sides. There is no antagonism between the opposing concepts here. It is present in the sound. It's present in the composition. It's present in the vibes, the emotions, the journey. Everything here feels like, from top to bottom, a way of fusing ideas together. And it is frequently because of the chords that are being played throughout. And the chords are, I think, key to this track. We do have melody from the vocals. Occasionally, sometimes the vocals are atonal. We get the harsh vocals, which don't really have a core tone to them. They end up being more textured and rhythmic. The drums are a rhythmic instrument too, and the guitars, well, they're mostly textured. I don't think there is any melody coming from the bass or the guitar. There are melodic devices, sure. What I would typically call chord shaping, arpeggiating up and down a chord, one note at a time, rather than strumming the entire chord. You're not just playing chords, you are changing notes. There is a melodic quality to it, but the core element here is to have all of these notes together, to feel the harmony, to feel the chord progression over time. There isn't any line in here that I would feel is melodically strong from the guitar or the bass. That is something I would hum back. A lot of it is vibes. They're creating atmosphere, they're creating texture, they're driving the chord progression home. It's chords, man, they're just melancholically beautiful. There's a lot of sections to this which are fairly ominous. There is a darkness throughout, but it's not one to be fearful of. It's one that feels like it's a part of something larger. Us as humans, and it probably is the title, I think, pulling me into this a little bit, hatching into humanity. This idea of trying to become more human, possibly. And humanity is dark. None of us are perfect. We make mistakes. We have regrets. There are things in the past that we might not do if we had a second chance to do them. We might have done something else, especially with the benefit of hindsight. But it's that darkness that you have to accept. It's the imperfections of yourself that you must accept to be who you are. You must learn and grow from them and not be too hard on your past self. And I think that's what I really get out of this track is the duality of humanity. The darker parts, the scarier parts, the less palatable elements of the race as a whole. And how all of that is what makes the beautiful parts of us that much more. It is why I think when this song reaches these peaks, these heights of traditional beauty, they are as impactful as they are. The music continues to support this even if the sonic production doesn't. We can enter into darker, grittier, grimier, gnarlier sounds, but the music underneath is still looking for that beauty, that positivity within. And when it gets a chance to peek through the noise and shine above everything else, it is wonderful. I think having that very clear showcase at the end of this song, the distorted guitar into the clean electric, following the same chord progression with two different techniques, two different sounds, it's the pure duality there. Nothing else to really deviate, to draw your attention from this clear illusion, and that you can use to view the rest of the track through. Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't remember the last Kokeshi track we checked out. I may have to revisit it. This song tells me though that I need to listen to this album, which came out in June 30th, so about a month ago. I definitely have to add it to my list and check it out before the year is over. If the rest of the album is as powerful as this is, then it is a pretty good shot it'll end up in my album of the year list. Now, aside from that, a few technical things that I'd like to just bring up just for sheer appreciation. On the concept of duality, there is a ton of variety on this track. Contrast is at an utmost high. Clean singing, growling, fry screams. There's two different kinds of fry screams. In fact, one of them might just be a higher pitched false chord growl in there. There's at least 4 different vocal types. We have vocal layering in here with a fry and a growl, I believe, at one point. There is dual clean vocals as we get closer to the end of the track. There is counterpoint between and instrument. It is a light melodic quality, but it plays well against the vocals in like the third to last section or something like that. It was closer to the end of the track. The instrumental sound of it all. I mean, we have the bass and guitar that kick the track off, and while I think this is the most dexterous we'll see either of those, it still is a great way to showcase this intricate dance between two ideas, with the guitar being a bit gnarlier and the bass being a bit more normal, more muted in a sense, I guess, comparatively. The guitar has more of a unique sound to it. The bass is what I kind of expect electric basses to sound like in rock music. And I use rock as a big global thing here. I know this is, it's got parts of metal in it. It's got parts of punk in it, maybe something post-hardcore related. I'm just going to say rock as a big idea. I think there are some rockier components of this track. It's kind of a big smorgasbord of those 3 guitar, drums, and vocal based instruments, or based genres. But the bass does sound like what I would kind of expect a bass to sound like in a track like this. The drums have a nice bit of variety to them too, and I do love the playfulness of this track when we explore transitions. At the beginning of the song, it's just stark. We are jumping back and forth between extremes, jumping from highs to lows, back to highs. We had one section where we had screaming and then 4 beats of clean and then growling, and it's just like light switches, man, just being flipped on and off. And the music is jumping between these as well. There's no gearing up into another idea or slowly slipping into something. It is just, we were doing this, now we're doing that, now we're doing this other thing. It's just rapid fire changes. And then we got 3 minutes in and we cut to complete silence. I figured, 2 beats. Here's beat 1 of the next bar. It's going to be big. Okay, it wasn't. Here's the next beat 1. That's nothing either. They trained me to expect these rapid fire changes on downbeats, that this song doesn't take its time. It is ready to jump into the next idea. And here, they trained me one way and pulled the rug out from under me when I expected that. Very fun composition there, especially since we don't jump up to an extreme. We find a midpoint. After that silence coming in, we have seen these vast gaps in energy. And here we have zeroed out the energy. We have been silent for a bar and a half now. This song tells me we are going to jump to our peak here, that we are going to hit the gnarliest, fastest blast beats, bass kicks, screaming section, and we don't. Almost as if this penultimate section of the track is finding the medium between the extremes, finding a way for them to work complementary to one another. And it's true, we get these beautiful, clean vocals alongside the heavier guitar work. The drums ramp up, the guitars ramp up. We see some of the 16th note picking coming in as we push towards the end of the song, yet the vocals stay chill. They're chest placed, they're clean, they're belted, there's presence and power behind them. They're not timid, they're not powerless, they're ethereal, they're confident. Maybe not in the way that a fully belted rock track, something big and anthemic would be, but compared to some of the other vocal work in here that is clean, this is rather well placed, well supported. There's a confidence here of merging everything, pushing away from the extremes into a medium point. Yeah, this is just gorgeous. I have a lot of appreciation for what's going on here. I enjoyed my time with it. I'm excited to see what else Kokeshi's doing here on this album. Let's dive into some lyrics here, see what's going on there. Unfortunately, I can't find any lyrics for this translated, Romaji, kanji, none of it. So we're going to have to skip that portion. However, if you do know Japanese, if you know a location where these lyrics can be, if you can self-translate from maybe by ear, listening to the music itself, I will have a link to the Bandcamp in the description below. I would love if somebody could translate this for me. Or if nothing else, get me an untranslated version if you can hear it by ear. I guess if you can't translate it yourself, that would be a bit odd, but maybe you just have an ear for that. You can get all the syllables down and somehow you know where the spaces should be, and I don't know. I'm just really curious. I think that there's a lot of emotive value in this track, and I would love to know the language story that they're putting with the musical story. All right, that's going to wrap this one up then. These are my thoughts on, what is this track called again? I keep forgetting. Hatching into Humanity. I have to pull this up because the title on Bandcamp is in kanji, and I can't read that. These are my thoughts on this by Kokeshi. What did you think of this track? Is there anything that stood out to you? Anything that you want to add on to what I said or correct me on? Do you have your own take, perspective, or opinion on this track? Let me know. I'd love to see what any of y'all are thinking about this, and maybe if your experiences line up with mine, or maybe they don't. You have a totally different take on this. I'd love to read it. Until next time, remember to, oh wait, we have another thing here. Below the video, in the description box, you'll find a link to Linktree. It takes you here. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you'd like to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, I greatly appreciate all three of those. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.